Far away in a quiet corner of the galaxy lived the Elindrans, a gentle and peaceful race. They were tall and slender, with shining blue skin that looked like crystal, and their eyes glowed softly in the dark. Elindrans loved art, poetry, and the beauty of the stars. Their cities sparkled like gems on their golden homeworld, and their lives were calm and full of harmony. They never wanted war or fighting. They believed the galaxy was too big for any one race to rule, and everyone could live in peace. But the galaxy did not care about the Elindrans. Powerful empires and warlike species ruled the stars. The Velkar, a race known for their strong fleets, controlled many systems. The Zorn Dominion was feared for its strict rule and mighty armies, and the Crass Confederacy was known for its traders and warships. These great powers looked down on the Elindrans because they had no big armies or powerful weapons. They thought the Elindrans were weak and unimportant, so they ignored them, never offering help or friendship. One day, everything changed. A dark and terrible enemy appeared. The Gorlak came, a race known across the galaxy for their violence and cruelty. They were massive creatures with 8 strong arms, covered in heavy metal armor, and their war machines were deadly. They cared only for power and conquest. The Gorlak attacked the peaceful Elindran homeworld without warning. Their ships blocked out the sun, and their soldiers destroyed the golden cities one by one. The Elindrans tried to fight back with what little they had, but they were no match. Their cities burned, their people screamed, and their world was dying. Desperate, the Elindrans sent messages to the galaxy's great empires, begging for help. They called for aid from the Velkar, the Zorn Dominion, the Crass Confederacy, anyone who might listen. But no help came. The great powers had no interest in saving a weak race with nothing to offer. They turned away and left the Elindrans to face the Gorlak alone. The Elindrans were crushed and forgotten. Their hopes faded as the war machines of the Gorlak marched on. In this darkest hour, a strange message arrived. It came from a small blue planet called Earth, home to the humans, a species known across the galaxy as fierce and wild. The humans were often called savages by other races because they were different. They were strong, tough, and full of fighting spirit, but few took them seriously. Many powerful empires looked down on humanity and thought they were a joke. Yet the humans sent a simple, clear message to the Elindrans. We will help you. The Elindrans were surprised. They had never asked humans for anything before, and no one expected the humans to answer their call. But with nothing left to lose, the Elindrans accepted the offer. The galaxy laughed. The Velkar and the others said, "Humans? Those savages? What could they possibly do against the Gorlak?" But the Elindrans knew the truth. Even if they seemed weak or strange, humans had a fighting spirit no one could ignore. As the Gorlak tightened their grip and prepared to destroy the last Elindran city, hope flickered in the hearts of the peaceful race. They waited, unsure what to expect. The arrival of humans would change everything, not just for the Elindrans, but for the whole galaxy. In that moment, the silent, forgotten world of Elindra was about to become the battleground where humans would show the galaxy why they were, never truly to be ignored. The last Elindran city was surrounded and trapped. Dark clouds of smoke rose from burning buildings, and the ground trembled as huge war machines stomped through the streets. The Gorlak had no mercy. Their sharp claws tore through Elindran defenses, and their loud roars filled the air. Families hid in underground shelters, hoping to survive the terrible day. It seemed all was lost. The Elindrans, once so full of light and peace, were now desperate and afraid. Their calls for help had gone unanswered for too long. The great empires of the galaxy watched silently, uninterested in this small, quiet race. Then suddenly the sky broke open. Without warning, a new fleet appeared above the city. It was smaller than the massive Gorlak armada, but it moved with speed and power. Black and red warships flew in tight formations. Their sharp shapes and wild painted symbols looked fierce, like something made for battle. The flagship was the largest, called Iron Heart. From its hangar bays, armored human marines dropped down like thunder, their boots hitting the ground with steady force. The soldiers wore heavy armor that looked tough and scratched from many fights. Their eyes burned with determination and courage. Leading them was Captain Ria Torres, a woman who carried the weight of many battles on her scarred face. Her gaze was hard but steady, full of strength no one could break. The Elindrans watched in awe and fear as the humans charged into the fight. They did not wait or hesitate. With loud shouts and precise attacks, they struck the Gorlak war machines with powerful weapons. The humans' railguns fired fast, glowing blue bolts that tore through metal and flesh. Explosives blew up the Gorlak machines, sending pieces flying in all directions. The Gorlak soldiers snarled and fought back, but they were surprised by the humans' speed and skill. Their giant war beasts fell one by one to the relentless human attacks. The Gorlak commander, a huge creature with armor covered in scars, growled in frustration. "What are these animals? How can they fight like this?" Through a hacked communication channel, Captain Ria answered simply, "We're the ones you should never have ignored." Ria and her soldiers fought not just with weapons, but with a wild, fearless spirit. They didn't just defend, they attacked, taking the fight to the Gorlak in ways no one expected. The humans were not just soldiers. They were survivors hardened by countless wars on their own world. They knew how to use the land and sky to their advantage. They used traps, clever tricks, and unbreakable teamwork. Every corner of the battlefield became a place of surprise and danger for the Gorlak. Soon, more human ships arrived, filling the sky with their black silhouettes. Fighters darted through space, weaving between enemy cruisers, firing bursts of laser and missiles. In a bold move, one human ship, called the Hound, rammed directly into a massive Gorlak dreadnought. The explosion destroyed both ships, but the damage to the enemy was huge. The humans did not fear death. They welcomed it if it meant protecting their allies and winning the fight. The Elindrans, once peaceful and quiet, began to fight alongside the humans. Their scientists worked together with human engineers to turn their city into a fortress. They turned gardens into trap zones and towers into sniper nests. Elindran healing machines saved many human lives. Slowly, the two races grew closer in their battle for survival. But the Gorlak were not done. They sent in their deadliest weapon, the Worm King, a monstrous living fortress. It was huge, covered in thick flesh, and armed with weapons that could destroy moons. Its very breath was like fire, and it crushed everything in its path. The Worm King was the final challenge. Ria and the humans knew this battle would be the hardest. The fate of Elindra and their new alliance rested on their shoulders. The peaceful race that once was ignored by the galaxy was now fighting for survival, and humanity stood beside them, ready to face the greatest enemy they had ever known. The Worm King moved slowly, but with terrifying power, crushing buildings and soldiers alike as it advanced toward the heart of the Elindran city. Its thick, armored skin was nearly impossible to pierce with normal weapons, and every step it took shook the ground like an earthquake. Human soldiers and Elindran defenders watched in horror as the massive creature destroyed everything in its path, leaving a trail of fire and broken stone. Captain Ria Torres knew this was the moment that would decide everything. She gathered her best pilots and engineers inside the Ironheart to plan their most daring attack yet. The humans and Elindrans worked together day and night, combining Elindran technology with human weaponry. They developed powerful energy bombs designed to weaken the Worm King's armor. Rhea studied the creature's movements and discovered a small weak spot near its massive head, where its thick plates overlapped but did not fully protect. It was tiny, but it was their only chance. The humans prepared their fastest fighters for a risky mission to fly inside the city, dodge the creature's crushing limbs, and strike the weak spot with precision bombs. Meanwhile, ground troops would hold the Gorlak soldiers back, buying time for the pilots to reach their target. The battle raged fiercely. Explosions shook the city as human marines and Elindran warriors fought side by side, their weapons lighting up the dark sky. The Gorlak soldiers, though shocked by the humans' strength, fought viciously to protect their monstrous weapon. Rhea led her pilots in daring loops and dives, dodging fiery blasts and falling debris as they raced to the Worm King. One pilot, a young but fearless man named Jax, pushed his fighter closer than anyone dared. His ship was hit by enemy fire, but he held steady, guiding his craft toward the weak spot. At the last moment, Jax released the energy bomb, which exploded with a brilliant flash of light, breaking through the armor and sending the Worm King into a furious rage. The creature roared and swung its massive arms wildly, but the damage had been done. Seeing the Worm King weakened, the humans launched their next attack, a coordinated strike from space. Human warships fired powerful lasers and missiles, hitting the creature from above. The Elindran used their technology to disrupt the Worm King's sensors, blinding it to the attack. Slowly but surely, the giant beast began to fall, its steps slowing and its body trembling. As it collapsed, a great silence fell over the battlefield. The Elindrans and humans, exhausted and battered, stood together, watching the end of the terrible threat. But the victory came with a price. Many brave humans and Elindrans had fallen, and the city was in ruins. Captain Rhea looked around at the survivors, her heart heavy but proud. They had faced a monster no one else dared fight, and they had won together. The alliance between humans and Elindrans was no longer a hope. It was a reality forged in fire and battle. The galaxy had ignored the Elindrans for too long, but now, with the humans as their allies, they had proven that even the smallest voice could roar the loudest. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. The savage humans were no longer to be underestimated. Their courage, strength, and unbreakable spirit had saved a world and changed the course of the galaxy forever. After the fall of the Worm King, the Elindran city lay in ruins, smoke still rising from the shattered towers and cracked streets. The battle had been won, but the cost was heavy. Many brave Elindran and human soldiers had given their lives to protect what little remained. Captain Rhea Torres stood on a hill overlooking the ruined city, her armor scratched and her face tired, but determined. Around her the survivors gathered, both Elindran and humans, their eyes full of sorrow and hope. The Gorlak had been defeated, but the war was far from over. Rumors spread quickly through the galaxy of the humans' fierce courage and skill. The once dismissive empires watched closely now, realizing they had underestimated the savage race from Earth. With the Elindrans as their allies, humans were no longer outsiders but a force to be reckoned with. As the Elindrans began rebuilding their cities with the help of human engineers and technology, a new sense of unity grew between the two peoples. The Elindran learned from the humans' resilience and fighting spirit, while the humans admired the Elindrans' wisdom and peace-loving nature. Captain Rhea, now respected by both races, worked tirelessly to strengthen the alliance, knowing that the Gorlak might return, or other threats could arise from the dark corners of space. In the months that followed, the humans and Elindrans formed a joint fleet, combining their ships and weapons. They trained together, sharing knowledge and tactics. The Elindrans taught humans how to use advanced energy shields and stealth technology, while humans taught the Elindrans how to fight fiercely and never give up. The once peaceful Elindrans became stronger warriors, and the humans found new respect for strategy and science. The galaxy began to change. News of the humans' victory spread like wildfire. Other smaller worlds, long ignored or oppressed by the great empires, started reaching out to humans and Elindrans, hoping to join the alliance. The Velkar and Zorn Dominion, once proud and distant, found themselves watching nervously as the savages rose in power and honor. Captain Rhea knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, filled with dangers and mysteries. But now, the Elindrans and humans stood side by side, ready to face whatever came next. They had proven that strength was not just about big fleets or advanced weapons. It was about courage, loyalty, and the will to fight for what is right. And so, the story of the savage humans and the once ignored Elindrans became a legend told across the stars, a story of unlikely allies, fierce battles, and the unbreakable spirit of those who refused to be forgotten.